The Abolish ICE movement is growing by the day. It is something that's more of a further left position for sure. I'm not sure if I'm exactly there yet in terms of having that position. I don't know if I'm there yet. I'm pretty close though, because there are certain basic facts that sort of stand in the way of, why you wouldn't want to abolish ICE. So what we're gonna be looking at here is a clip of Tomi, super short. I don't know why she posts these out there, but it's a little tiny segment from her final thoughts, where she's going to make a completely unbelievably asinine statement.
When these Democrats say they want to abolish ICE, they're really saying they want to abolish the rule of law. So remember that and vote on it.
Is it possible to be that stupid? I mean, honestly, is it possible to really be this fucking dense, this much of a dunce? I haven't heard something that stupid in quite a long time, because making the claim that trying to, people who want to abolish ICE are trying to abolish rule of law. In fact, not only is it stupid because it's not true, but it honestly sort of can work in the other direction. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, what a lot of ICE does is a lot of what it does is depriving people on U.S. soil, United States soil, of their due process rights. Once you're in this country, whether illegal or not, as the Constitution grants, you have due process constitutional rights, because they're given. It says no person, it doesn't say no American citizen. So once your feet are on this soil, and as we've had Supreme Court cases that decide this, and ICE does not really provide any due process whatsoever. They don't want due process. Donald Trump doesn't want due process. Trump does not want due process. So it honestly works in the other direction if you think about it. But here's the thing. Again, just some basic facts, right? U.S. Border Patrol is what protects the U.S. border, not ICE. That's not what ICE does. ICE was passed right after 9/11. And it was where there was bipartisan support and everyone was trying to, ramp up national security, and they were all scared. And it was started back in 2003. So what you're saying is, if you want to abolish an agency that was made back in 2003, wouldn't that mean that you're saying that there was no rule of law prior to the year of 2003? Because if you're saying, by me wanting to abolish an agency created in 2003, I want to abolish the rule of law, are you saying that there was no rule of law prior to 2003? But again, I mean, how high of a standard can we hold Tomi Lahren to? Because clearly she's not very bright. But I'm not going to make a segment on this, but I do want to touch on it a little bit. She did come out against the idea of, because the Supreme Court justice business is kind of blowing up because Roe v. Wade is now in danger. She actually came out against the idea of overturning Roe v. Wade. However, it did not seem to be, from what I saw anyway, that she was in opposition to Roe v. Wade due to, I think that, women should have the right to have an abortion prior to, 21 weeks or whatever it may be. It didn't seem to be that, but it seemed to be more of an electoral strategy of, hey, let's not jump into that because then it's going to hinder our chances at 2020 and further elections. So that, despite the fact that it wasn't, based on, political stances, which would have been a lot more surprising, it's still surprising a little bit. You know what I mean? But let me know your guys' thoughts down below.